Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for November 4, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, more than 80 lottery scam suspects arrested so far this year. More than 80 lottery scamming suspects have been arrested during targeted operations so far this year. Paraphernalia used in the crime have also been seized. In an interview with the news, head of the Area 1 Police, Assistant Commissioner Clifford Chambers, said the arrests, which have largely occurred in St. James and Westmoreland, have positively affected other crime data. In St. James, for instance, he reported 72 fewer major crimes, or an 18% decline compared to the same period last year. Murders are down by 7% and the shootings by 9%. Similarly, in Westmoreland, ACP Chambers said there have been 65 fewer murders, while shootings are down by about 9%. As a result of the targeted anti-lottery scamming operations, ACP Chambers said, overall, there have been an 11% reduction in major crimes in the Area 1 Police Division, representing more than 107 fewer crimes recorded compared with 2022. 68 people were arrested for lottery scamming last year.
And what we have seen today is, for example, in St. James, there is a 72 less major crime resulting from scamming activities and persons associated with scamming. This gives us a percentage of about 18% less major crimes in St. James. And when it comes on to murder, we are seeing 7% less in murder this year compared to last year, and with regards to shooting, a 9% less. This is even more obvious in Westmoreland, where we continue with the targeted approach of scammers, and we are seeing Westmoreland recording 65 less murders, and we have in excess of a large amount of shooting as well on or about, which are less than last year, which is about 9%.
Zero booked for alleged ammunition find following jumpy moves. 26-year-old Joel Howell, otherwise called Zero, a laborer of Alexander Road, Kingston 13, has been charged with unauthorized possession of prohibited ammunition following the seizure of 15 9mm cartridges in his community on Wednesday. Reports from the Hunts Bay police are that about 5 p.m., law enforcers were on patrol in the area when they saw a group of men sitting in a yard. On scene, the police, Howell reportedly started to act in a manner that aroused their suspicion. He was approached and a search was conducted, and the ammunition was allegedly found in a pocket. He was taken into custody and subsequently charged. His court date is being finalized. Curfew in Mount Salem and Norwood, St. James. The police in St. James have extended the curfew in Mount Salem and imposed a curfew in Norwood, St. James, amid increased criminal activities. The security measures will run from 8 p.m. November 3 until Sunday, November 5 at 8 p.m. Mount Salem has been under a curfew since Tuesday. Citing tension in the area as a result of a triple shooting on Sunday, head of the Zones of Special Operations for St. James, Deputy Superintendent Ainsley McCarthy, said the restriction in movement has been extended. According to him, the curfew is being introduced in Norwood after a flare-up in the area where 2 murders were committed in 2 weeks. He expressed a concern regarding possible reprisals. Security experts are skeptical of Jamaica adopting El Salvador crime reduction model. Senior crime investigator and security expert Robert Finzi-Smith is skeptical about the disputed suggestion by former National Security Minister Robert Montague for Jamaica to adopt the controversial El Salvador crime reduction model. He says the model, largely touted as effective, is impulsive and riddled with human rights abuse speculations. The senior crime fighter believes implementing the model could backfire and worsen the crime situation in Jamaica. Speaking with the news on Friday, Mr. Finzi-Smith said the country should therefore lean towards a strategic and intelligence-driven policing rather than a knee-jerk reactive policy to constant bloodletting. El Salvador, which was considered the murder capital of the world for decades, saw its crime rate plummet by more than half in 2022, following President Nayib Bukele's iron-fist crackdown on gangs. In March, President Bukele built the largest prison in the Western Hemisphere to house those nabbed in the mass incarceration exercise. The Hardline campaign saw the country recording 496 homicides last year, down from 1,147 in 2021. Some 70,000 men were sent to prison on suspicion of gang activity, with many not being afforded a trial. Rights groups criticized the model, citing alleged abuses during enacted states of emergency, including possible arrest of innocent people and the cover-ups of deaths of detainees in police custody.
Perhaps not in its absolute situation. You lock up a number of people where you're keeping them. What happens to the people who are innocent but now incarcerated with people who are not? You have literally put them in a position where they can be, what you call it, indoctrinated by these people. And the feeling of outrage at being locked for long periods of time and I'm innocent might create a mindset that germinates later on into perhaps even a worse situation than you're currently facing. I believe that we need to be guided by intelligence rather than fishing with a net and you don't care what you pick up. You have a choice about doing an operation on a limb or just curing the entire problem by amputating it. Which you choose, because at the end of that, you are now short of one limb. What try and cure? What have you created in its place? Social resentment in people who are not part of the problem, who now find no difficulty in becoming part of the problem. El Salvador, I believe, if I'm not incorrect, was one of the countries in Central America that fought a war over a football game. Why not put in legislation that says if I find somebody that I'm looking for this type of crime in your house is now forfeit. The house now belongs to the state. I'm wondering now, where does the budget for feeding these people come from? If it is not sufficient and we don't create concentration camps with very poor health care and nutrition.
Criminologist Jason McKay said Jamaica must be prepared to face international sanctions if it adopts the draconian Salvadoran crime reduction model, which has faced international scrutiny for alleged human rights abuses.
It's the cost that comes with it you have to consider, the problems relating to international sanctions and so on, and the cost of it as well. Right now in Salvador has 72,000 people incarcerated. When you compare that to Jamaica, which has 4,000, you can just imagine the cost affiliated to an exercise like that. But if it is a matter that you want the homicides to stop at any cost, then you have to look on a model like that if you want it done in the short term. Once you have the facility and you have the power to do what Bukele is doing, you don't actually have to arrest the person because they will stop doing what they're doing to attract you to arrest them because of the fair justice system that we have. You can't just incarcerate them indefinitely like what Bukele has done. It requires evidence. In the Bukele model, you don't really require evidence. You require intelligence. But I think just the fair component that you can arrest and detain, indefinitely. I don't think they would continue committing crime. It would require you to arrest them. It is because they know you don't have that type of power why they continue to do what they're doing.